Welcome back to another art video that's gonna make you feel like shit. Get better at drawing. Now, before I turn you into a drawing god, we're gonna have to go over the basics. For the basics of the face, we're gonna start with a circle and then a line down the center to indicate what direction the face is going in, and then a line to indicate the length of the chin. And we're gonna finish up drawing the chin. We're gonna add 2 huge circles for the ears. I find that adding the ears first kind of helps me know where to place the other guidelines. I want the line for the eyes to be like on the same line as the ears. I don't know why I indicated it above the ears. And then the nose and the mouth lines are going to be a little bit under the ears. And then we're going to draw 2 big circles for the eyes. And also they're big enough so I can fit the eyebrows in later so that they kind of follow the curve of the eyes. And then in between the eyes, we're going to add a triangle for the nose. And the nose isn't flat, it has planes, so here I am just adding in the planes of the nose. And then we're also going to mark where the side of the face is. And whatever the heck that's called, I have no idea.
Glabella.
The glabella. Thank you, Google. I can finally sleep at night. Also, the side of the head is not flat, so we're going to draw 2 lines to indicate that there is a side of the head. And then, obviously, the chin. To find where your mouth line should start, I usually draw a dot in the center of the eye and then go down to where we drew the mouth line, and that's typically where the mouth will start. And so here I am completely ignoring my guidelines that I had just initially drawn for this, and I'm just kind of doing my own rough guidelines. And then finally we're just gonna sketch over the rough guidelines, doing the chin, the eyes. Try not to hyperfixate on the eye or your line too much. It's not that serious. They're not meant to be perfectly even. Sisters, not twins. And then I just draw in the nose with some blocky shapes or blocky lines, if you will. This is future me speaking. Please excuse my inability to speak. It's rough out here. And I'm adding the mouth line. Then I'm going to draw the eyebrows within the circle that I drew for the eyes. If not, then they end up looking like this. By all means, if that's your style, I'm not stopping you. Then I'm just going to finish up the ears and the neck. And then I like to add like random eyeliner because that's just my personal style. I like adding dramatic eyeliner. Pro tip, eyeliner over eyelashes. Just adding some final touches. I'm also making the eyes big as fuck, which you're not supposed to do, but personal preference, I think they look better big. And then I'm going over with the original fundamentals basic guidelines that I drew earlier, just to show you that they do actually work and they line up pretty well. But those are just the steps I took to create the front-facing one. Don't be afraid to use references and to trace over your references. I find it's really helpful to like find the basic shapes that I would need to draw a face just by tracing over the reference. And here I am just drawing basic circle, the line to indicate what direction the face is going to be going in. The chin, the lines for the eyes, nose, and mouth. Then the ears, the eyes. For the nose, I kind of used more of a specific shape that's more, it aligns more with my reference instead of just drawing a random triangle. And then here I am completely ignoring those guidelines again. Then I'm going to start sketching in the nose. Then I'm going to sketch in my eyes. Even though it's 3/4, they are still the same size. Some people like to make the eye on the other side a lot smaller, but if anything, the other eye is just a little bit thinner. I'm sketching in the lines for my mouth. And the eyebrows are following the shape of the eyes, so they're kind of just like curving around the eyes. And also, this shape is pretty important when you're drawing the 3/4 view. It's a little bit tricky. I don't always get it right, but just, again, use reference. Then the ear can easily be made up out of 3 or 4 different lines. And I like to make my eyes a little bit bigger, so that's what I'm doing here. And for some reason, it just looks really masculine to me, and I couldn't get it to look feminine, but I think it turned out fine. And basic shapes for the ear again. Then I drew some creepy eyes that I didn't keep because they were scaring me a little bit. Sometimes that happens. And again, just final touches with the eyeliner. Then I'm going over that again with the initial fundamentals / simple guidelines that I had in place, just to show you that they do work. And here's the steps that I went through for the 3/4 view. And then for the side view, we're gonna draw a dot in the center and draw a line down. If you have trouble drawing the mouth shape, I find that tracing over the reference really quick helps me get the general shape down pretty easily. We're indicating the side of the head, the side of the face, and the huge eye. And I put a small triangle inside the eye to indicate what direction the eyes are gonna actually go in. And then again, you can trace over the reference to get the shape for the nose that you need, or you could just guess like I did. And then here I am completely disregarding those guidelines I just gave you, which is why mine looks horrible during this whole thing. But in the end, I realized I really liked the result, so that's why I'm leaving it in the video. Also, I think it's good to show your mistakes, not just pretend that you get it perfectly every time, because I definitely do not. So if you want to avoid going through all of the trauma that I did, I would suggest drawing over the reference to get the shape at least the first few times that you try drawing the side profile, so that way you don't quit art immediately. You're welcome. I feel like I feel like a lot of the time when I mess up, I will completely just scratch that project or whatever and move on to another one. Believe me when I say that I wanted to scrap this one. But recently, like, going back and trying to make it work no matter what, even if I cry over it and want to take a nap immediately after, like, I still just keep going, and that's helped me so much. Not running away from your problems. But definitely take a break, because sometimes you just need to step back from your art for a minute or so. Also, here's me pointing out what went wrong when I didn't use the guidelines, because I ended up drawing the nose and the chin just way too low on the face, and it just looked really bad. But in the end, everything works out. And then here I am just going over the initial guidelines I should have used in the video when I started drawing this, just to show you they do matter. Please use them. And then just the final touches of eyeliner, because that's my style. And then I had to give them hair because they were looking a little rough. And here are our 3 faces. You made it to the end of the video. Now it's finally over, and hopefully my future videos will be less trash.